My name is Christina and you're watching Proud Bookline. And today I'm doing another 3 things to talk about. And basically, I'm not actually going to recommend books, which is a bit weird, but I'm going to talk about school and education and that we need diversity, basically. Let's start off by the fact that the majority of the YA books contain characters that are in an age where you're supposed to go to school. The majority go to school. However, this is rarely shown. If you want some book recommendations where the school is actually shown, you basically have Harry Potter. And you also have Moxie, which was an amazing book. You have other books too, but usually, at least I've noticed, a lot of books only briefly mention school. Like 2 sentences, the class is over, and then the interesting things start happening. And I guess that's okay, but I personally would like to see school actually being a part of their lives. Because however much I want to refuse that school is a big part of my life, it kind of is. And how I perform in school, what I do in school, what my classes are, homework are, those things actually affect my spare time, they affect my mood, and I just kind of wish we would see that a bit more often in the actual books. Because often you write a book in order to, well, show somebody another person's story, and when they are in those ages, they usually go to school, and school is a big part of their life. So if you add it, don't erase it or invalidate it or make it incredibly short. Because if you're honestly only going to write 2 sentences, like the class started and the class ended, then skip it. Like, I don't need that. Because trust me, even during my most boring classes, where I basically sleep half of the class, things happen. Like, I'm pretty sure that somebody has broken up with somebody, or that somebody is coming in late, because we take buses and trains to our school, and we might not be the ones that take the train 30 minutes early in order to be there on time. No, but things happen. Pens are being dropped, people are yelling at each other, parties are made, somebody's longing for lunch, somebody's checking what it is for lunch, somebody is absolutely sleeping, at least in my classes. So it's not like nothing ever happens during classes. It's just up to you as a writer then to figure out if something important is happening in that class, or if something that is actually contributing to the story or can explain how a person's mood is. Then add those scenes and write those scenes. If nothing happens during the class, don't add those sentences with the class started and the class ended, because it only annoys me. But that's my personal opinion. These are personal opinions. You do not have to agree with me. The second thing I want to talk about is diversity when it comes to school. And I'm not only talking about different kinds of school. Like with Hogwarts, there's boarding schools. With the Archive, that's a private, very prestigious school. And with Moxie, that's a public school. Great. I really want to see that kind of representation. I want to see religious schools, I want to see public school, I want to see huge schools, I want to see small schools, and just all the schools, because schools are different and they are in a different environment and they are crafted differently, and there's so many different kinds of school. Like, I really want to see like a deaf school, and I really want to see a religious school, and I really want to see just all the schools. Honestly, just give me all the schools. And not only all the schools, but I want to see different forms of education. Because I want to see homeschooling. I want to see online schooling, like cyber school. I want to see those things. In Sweden, it's actually illegal to be homeschooled, so I can understand why there's no Swedish books with homeschooling. But other places, homeschooling is fairly common, and there's actually a lot of Swedish families that have moved to Holland just in order to homeschool their children. So I mean, it's not that uncommon. However, I cannot think of a single book where any of the characters are homeschooled, which is strange, at least in my opinion. And online school and cyber school, like, that's a great way to learn, and it's so common nowadays to study online, or at least take courses online. It's just very, very natural and very normal to do in today's society, and I think that especially YA fiction should show this fact, because I mean, it's happening and I would love to see it represented, because School is a big part, however that part may look different for everybody. It probably does, because school takes different big parts of your life and they are, like I said, formatted differently. We have like zero school diversity. Honestly, it's usually only like public schools or in a very few rare cases like Hogwarts boarding school, but that's basically it. I've never seen anybody homeschooled apart from the girl in everything. And wait, I believe that the girl in Under Rose-Tainted Skies also is homeschooled, but that's basically it. So yeah. My third opinion is that school, no matter what, is a part of your life, even if you're skipping school. Because I read a lot of mental health books, if you haven't noticed that. Wow, big surprise. And I've noticed that a lot of those kind of forget about school, I would say. They don't have it prevalent in the way that I would want them to, because a few of them, or at least the ones have taken place at a facility or treatment center, they don't mention school. And I've also seen in a lot of urban fantasy books, and you know, the thrillers and everything where the main protagonist basically drops out of school and like goes unnoticed and yeah, just go on their adventure and basically forgets about school. And I wish I could forget about school, and I wish students could just like leave school whenever they wanted to, or when they wanted to go on an epic adventure, or that when they skipped school because of their mental health, it wouldn't be a big deal, or it would not have any big consequences, but it does. I'm not sure about other countries, but there's a law in Sweden that says that you have to go to school until you're 16. So basically you're breaking the law if you're missing school without a valid reason. And even if it's a valid reason, for example an illness, like in everything where the girl is still homeschooled, or a mental illness like the girl from Under Rose-Tainted Skies, but like even if you're missing school for being at a treatment center like the girl in Cut, like you still have school. There's still a school waiting for you. You still have makeup work if you're still going to that school afterwards, or you might have to do a year over or something else along those ways, because at least in my country and at least in my schools, going on an epic adventure would not be counted as valid. You would have so much makeup work and you would not be unnoticed, like your absence wouldn't go unnoticed. Therefore, I think that no matter what your story is about, if it's an urban fantasy, if it's a book about mental health or illnesses, if it's a book about physical illnesses, if it's a book about anything, if your character is between the ages 6 to 18, they probably go to school. Or yeah, they probably go to school they probably go to school, and school is therefore a part of their life, and therefore it should be incorporated. And since in Sweden it's mandatory, it's a law, you cannot like just skip it even if you feel like it, and even if you have a valid reason, there's still going to be consequences of that. And I think, at least if I remember Cut correctly, this girl did not think about school. She didn't really think about returning to school, and maybe that's just because I'm a neurotic person and I always cared about school, but most children do actually care about school, even the tough boys that act like they don't, because school is important and it's such a big part of the adolescents and the children's lives that it's weird when it's not incorporated in the genre and in the books that the ones are actually reading and are supposed to relate to. Because I personally can't really relate to anybody that's not in school or has thoughts about school or has been in school recently. That just doesn't seem, thing. Has some bad examples when this is not done properly, and it's usually glossed over, and maybe that's because the authors usually are not still in school, maybe it's because of the publishers, maybe it's just because nobody has really voiced any opinion about this because there's other things to talk about as well. But yeah, those are 3 things to talk about when it comes to schools in YA and education in YA, because I really just want more diversity when it comes to education. I want to see education in different formats, in different schools, performed differently by different teachers, just everything. I want to see other things than the normal and very actually privileged narrative, because usually it's a big, probably a bit rich public school where it's computers, where it's a teacher that is educated in every class, and a lot of us do not have that possibility or aren't in that position, because the school when I went before, we had 40 teachers in 4 years, and a lot of those weren't educated. If somebody lives, for example, in Brazil or the Amazonas, they don't go to school. They go to school via their computer, is basically not on even every day, so going to school gets really hard. And then there's the fact that a lot of people don't go to school. And I'm not saying that, for example, if a girl, let's say in Burkina Faso, a lot of girls aren't able to go to school there, but just because the girl does not go to school, she probably thinks about school. She probably has, or somebody in her surrounding that goes to school. So even if it's not your main character that actually goes to school, they probably have something related to school in their life, whether it be another person, or it's thoughts, or if it's plans, they probably have that. Just a PSA. So yeah, those were 3 rambly opinions about education in YA. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Your support means the world to me, and I hope that you have a great day / night / whatever part is for you. Bye!